To create dynamic data, you first of all have to prepare your database in the right way. To do this, go into List and Subscribers. You may already have a list here that you want to work with, but I'll create a new list as part of this demonstration. You'll notice on the right hand side there's some options for custom fields and segments. First of all, go into custom fields. You'll notice that the standard ones are name and email address. But let's say you wanted to segment your audience into, say, staff and customers, or staff and students. First of all, create a custom field called staff, add field, then create another one, say, called students, or whatever you want. Then on the right hand side you'll notice it says create a segment. So click on that. Click on the create a new segment. And again call it staff. What you have to do is you have to select one of the custom fields that you created. So in this case we'll use staff. Add the rule. And then you need to tell the system what the rule equals. So in a moment we'll look at how you prepare your data in, say, Excel. I'll put staff in there and I'll explain why I've done that in a moment. And I'll save and refresh. It shows that there's no active subscribers that fit into this segment because currently I haven't loaded any content. I'll go in and create one more segment for students. And I'll do that. And there I'll put student. So we've now got our databases ready for two segments. If you say go into Excel, you'd normally prepare your data in something like Excel, or you might export it out of a system. But whatever happens, you need to make sure that all your different fields of information are in columns. So here we've got one for the full name, email address. You'll then notice I've got a column here, staff member and students. You'll notice in here that I've put, in a section where somebody is a staff member, I've put staff, and in this column I've put students. So let's say person 3 was also a student. You would add that there. So let's just save that. When you go back into Campaign Monitor, you would add new subscribers, and you can just drag your list to this window. What happens next is it asks you what to do with the information in the different columns. So as I named the columns, it's already predicted what I want to do with it. So these are their full names, email address. It's identified that staff goes into staff and those two go into students. So you say finish adding subscribers. So now you'll notice if you click on segments, you'll see that there are 3 total subscribers. 1 member is staff and 2 are students. So you can click on that and you could then view the subscribers. You'll notice that that relates to what we had in our Excel file. So now your database is prepared to use dynamic data. So if you create a campaign, you can add dynamic data to that campaign. So let's just go and create a campaign. It's a little bit complicated to add dynamic data, but once you get the hang of it, it's fairly straightforward. If you go in and edit something, let's say this was your let's say this area here we wanted different dynamic data for different people. Now the advantage of dynamic data is that you can target people with information based on their profile. So if you know that they're a member of staff or a customer or whatever it is, you can send them specific information that they might be interested in. So to create the dynamic data, I've got 2 messages here that I want to target, one to staff and one to students. So if you're a student, the email would say visit our website. As a student, you can receive 25% off. If you were not a student, so you're a member of staff, it would say visit our website, and make sure your students are aware of the discounts. So what this code is showing you, it's saying if customer type equals students, and you'll remember that the word students was one of the segments I had, then it'll insert this piece of text. It'll insert the as a student you can receive 25% off. If, however, they are not in that segment, so in other words they're in the staff segment, it'll not put this section, it'll put the else, so it'll include that. Now, to be able to go in and see this in detail, you can look at the source code and see how that's done in detail, but you don't actually need to do that. As long as you put the if commands and else and end if at the end, you'll be fine. So where you want your targeted piece to students to start, you put if customer type equals students, then you put your message and then you put else. So in other words, if they don't fit into that sector, they'll get that message and then say end if. So when you look in the preview, so let's just save that. You look in the preview, you'll see that it shows you that message. Now, to be able to preview different things, we'll just need to define some audience. So let's pick that. We go view preview. It now shows you dynamic content, so customer typed. So it says equals student. So it says visit our website as a student, you can receive 25% off. If in the database they don't match that segment, then they get that different message. So you would then define your recipients, and obviously you would need to make sure, I perhaps didn't make that clear, when you were defining your recipients, you would obviously need to make sure you selected the right list that had these segments in it. You'd click next, test and define, you could do the test or skip it, and then you'd be ready to send out your campaign, and different audiences would get different dynamic information in their emails.